Hi, second graders. Okay, I have a really important question for you. What do cats, Gatorade, cheese, and coffee all have in common? They're all fantastic things? Well, yes, but they're all states of matter. This week we're going to be talking about the reading solids and liquids in your week 7 packet. Matter is everywhere. Are you touching something right now? It's matter. Are you looking at something? It's matter. Are you breathing it? It's matter. Matter just means it takes up space and it has a mass. And mass is just another word for weight. We're going to do a couple of experiments that you can do at home with your parents to demonstrate how states of matter can change. Okay, so in your reading, it says that a liquid can be poured into a container and it'll take the shape of that container. So I have a jar and I have a bunch of rocks. If I put the rocks inside the jar, what do you think is going to happen? Let's see. Well, I guess they took the shape of the jar, right? But here, I have some dirt. If I pour this dirt into the jar and there's no more space left, that means that, yeah, the rocks are liquid. But if the dirt fills up the extra space, that means that they're solids. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so it looks like the dirt took up the extra space. That means that the rocks are solid, right? Okay, so now I have water. What do you think is going to happen if I pour the water into the jar with the rocks and the dirt? Do you think there's any extra space left? All right, let's give it a try. Ooh. There's no more extra space left. So I think that after our experiment, that tells us that the rocks and the dirt are solids and the water is the liquid. Now that we've gotten our hands dirty doing the experiment, it's time to read together. So when I read, I like to make a graph to help me understand what is happening better, especially with nonfiction writing and with science topics like this. So I noticed in the title that there are two topics, solids and liquids. So I decided to make a Venn diagram. Just make two circles that connect in the middle. Above one circle, you'll write solids, and we will write everything we learn about solids. Above the other circle, you'll write liquids, where we'll write everything we learn about liquids. In the middle, we write things that both solids and liquids have in common. So let's get started. What do shoes, paper, and cheese all have in common? They're all solids. So here, as you'll notice in my diagram, in the solid circle, I wrote shoes, cheese, and paper. Solids are things that have a shape of their own. This I also wrote in the solid circle. They do not flow like liquids do. Computers, trees, and soccer balls are also solids. Again, you'll notice that I wrote computers, trees, and soccer balls in the left circle that says solids. Liquids do not keep their shape. So this is the first information I'm finding out about liquids, so I went ahead and wrote it in the liquid circle. A liquid can be poured into a container and will take the container's shape, just like our experiment. So I went ahead and wrote, takes the shape of the container in the liquid circle. Some examples of liquids are water and milk. Again, right there in the liquid circle. Moving on to the third paragraph. Solids and liquids have something in common. They are both states of matter. So, since they have something in common, this is where we're going to write the information in the middle, where the two circles connect. Matter is everywhere. It is anything that takes up space and has mass. Under states of matter, I wrote take up space and has mass in the middle. Mass is a measure of how much matter is in an object. All objects are made of matter. So I noticed that these two pieces of information could not fit in the solids and liquids section, so I went ahead and wrote other information and placed it at the bottom of my graph. Now you guys have an awesome graph with all of the information organized, so you can answer your questions more easily. After you're done working in the packet, I encourage you to have some fun with your family and do some experiments about solids and liquids. Here, I'm leaving you instructions on how to make your own ice cream. Talk about if the ingredients are solids or liquids, and then what happens when you make the ice cream. Also, there's this awesome book called Bartholomew and the Oobleck by Dr. Seuss. Here I'm leaving you a link so you can follow and read along on YouTube, and then I'm leaving you instructions on how to make Oobleck at home. Okay? So you can talk about whether you think the Oobleck is a solid or a liquid. And as always, don't forget, wash your hands, especially if you're making the Oobleck. See you later.